Daddy Squared. Gay Dad Saved the World.
A daily dose of gay dads on the front lines of the global pandemic.
With Alex McGann and Jan Dick.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Daddy Squared, Gay Dads Save the World, Day 17.
Just as a reminder, we are not the ones who are saving the world. We're not so full of ourselves to think that we are. We are incredibly blessed to be able to bring people to you who are saving the world.
And it's also capturing a moment in time, which I think is really important for the future.
Speaking of capturing moments in time, you know, you and I have been talking about the way people look in social networking. I am thrilled not to be on social networking anymore like I used to be, but you are.
I am, and I have to say that there are some people who I look at their photos and I get depressed, Alex. They look so perfect. They look,
sure,
you know, muscular and rum chicka bone and you know.
Look,
I'm like, I'm not. I'm so not, and
God.
They are, and therefore I'm depressed.
Well, look, I mean, I will accept, and I've looked over your shoulder at your feed or whatever they're calling it these days, and it's true. There are a lot of beautiful people out there, and there are a lot of people who are posting beautiful pictures, but there is so much proof of how much bullshit there is that I don't understand why you're not taking that into account. I mean, how many of our own friends have we spoken to who have these pictures where everything looks so fabulous and they are a dumpster fire of a catastrophe in their lives? And you're like, don't you take that as evidence that this is largely a charade?
That's true. I don't know. I always say that there are two types of people who you follow. The people who you follow and they make you feel good and they uplift your, you know, spirit or whatever by looking and reading what they have to say. And people who you follow because it's like an eye candy, but at the same time it makes you feel bad about yourself.
Just like candy. I mean, it's just like candy. You eat it and it tastes delicious as you're swiping by it with your finger, and then you feel fat afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah. No, look, that's true. I like looking at pretty pictures of men too. By the way, I encourage all of you to go into Google Images and type in Matt Fraser.
Who's that?
Just go ahead. Just go ahead. Yeah. Just wait. Hold on. We'll wait. We're back.
In the meantime, I'll say that you guys probably remember that during the season 3 of our show, we discussed the house across the street from us that was up for sale. So I'm happy to inform that there are hot men. Two or one?
I don't know. It's hard to tell because,
somebody's got in there in the past 2 weeks, and it looks good. I have to say that. All right, let's move on to our subject for today. So yesterday we spoke with Jonathan Miller. Today we're speaking with What kind of language is that?
I don't know. I'm going to speak from now on with an Israeli accent in this podcast.
Today we're speaking with Blair Miller. Blair Miller. From West Virginia as well, of course. He's a TV reporter, as you probably know.
This is quite a couple.
And I have to say, yes, they are power couple. Yeah. He said that. But I have to hear his side of the story about the kid barging in the middle of a live broadcast. Because if it happened to me, I'm like, I'd quit the business.
See, I would think it's so great. I don't know what you're talking about. We also have to...
and then again, it comes to the perfectionism, right? Because if it happens to other people... I mean, I saw the video.
Yeah.
I just Googled it this morning.
To what extent is it adorable?
And it's adorable because Blair is adorable and the kids is adorable.
Yes.
I don't know if it happened to me, what would I feel?
Here's the thing. You got to go with the flow a little bit. People are actually human beings. If there's one silver lining, seriously, if there's one silver lining that I've experienced from the lockdown has been people's formality has dropped like a rock. You watch people in their, you know, when you do your Zoom videos or your whatever meeting videos, and people are so much more casual and open because it's kind of hard not to be when your kid is behind you or you can see the toilet or whatever it is. And I actually welcome that part of change that has come about.
Based on this conversation, we'll call Blair now. I'll call my therapist right after that. So let's call him now.
Guys.
Oh, hello, Blair.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
So,
how are you guys?
We're good. So yesterday we talked with your husband. Jonathan. And today, I think the very first question that I have to ask you is your side of the story about your kid coming in the middle of the report.
Oh, but the pizza.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's been fine. I've been working at home for like 6 weeks, every day doing broadcasts from home, and it's fine. And, it's like clockwork. We're kind of getting a good rhythm. And then I'm getting ready to go on air, and I go on air, and I have a monitor in front of me, and I can see myself. And so I'm able to see what's happening, and I see the door coming open, and I kind of shimmy in my seat a little bit trying to cover it. And then that didn't work. And he kind of came in and he froze, and I could see him, and I was kind of watching that monitor, watching the TV monitor at the same time. And he kept coming in, and I was like, oh gosh. And I just kept thinking in my mind, I've got to get out of this immediately before I become some viral sensation.
Have you become a viral sensation?
Maybe only regionally so far, which is okay. So,
well, if we can find it on YouTube, we might have to help with the virality.
You'll find it if you spend enough time.
Totally.
I have to suspect that people, who it can't do harm. Your adorable little kid coming in and talking about pizza can't possibly do harm to your career.
I know when it initially happened, I was like, I was so scared what was going to happen. And then, within minutes, I was like, this is just life. This is our reality. And, we're not the only ones going through it. And this is just, and I got so many messages on Facebook from people just saying, how funny it was. And,
sure.
And they appreciated and needed to see that we're human too.
Who do you work for? What network? I'm sorry for my ignorance.
No, it's okay. I work for a company called Cox Media Group. We have TV stations all across the country. And so, I pop up here and there. We have a show. We launched a political show right before all this stuff that we'll run on all of our TV stations as well. And so I worked in Charleston, Charlotte, Boston, and now here based in D.C. for all of our stations.
Sure. I know Cox Communications. That's great.
Yeah.
That's lovely. So tell me, obviously the fundamental things that have changed during the pandemic in your job are that you're working from home and your kid is coming in to tell you about the pizza. But other than that, can you share the other ways that your job has changed during this pandemic?
Well, it's really crazy because my studio is right there at where the U.S. Capitol is and right near the White House. And so I'll go to the White House very often. I'll go to the Capitol every day and talking with people, and then we'll shoot stories. We shoot shows down there. And, our crew's been amazing, and they outfitted my office. So we have a TV studio in there so we can do what we need to do. Right. But what I think has really changed about it is that it's much more raw now. We don't have the bells and whistles and be flashy about stories and use graphics. We're doing Zoom interviews. We're taking it almost old school. And what really matters is the content again. And that's really so great to see. And I really enjoy that from that perspective. Now I've always said I want to be someone who works from home. I've always said, wouldn't it be? I could get so much more done if I work from home. I don't get anything done, but it's. Right. I can tell you what. It is. I feel a lot more comfortable being in my pajamas or shorts, right. on the bottom and wearing a jacket and shirt on the top. I'm much more comfortable.
You know what? I wasn't going to ask you that because I assumed everybody would ask that question. But but halvesies makes a lot of sense in your line
Look,
of work.
I've worn a suit for every day for years. I'm due. It's okay.
Right. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. So you're at home with the kids, despite working on air. You're at home with the kids while your husband is out there paramedicing, right?
Right. I mean, he's home a lot more than you would probably think, but he's running the school show, during the day, and God, I got to give it to him for that because I can't handle that, And so usually it's, he's handling the mornings, and I'm trying to, figure out what I need to do. I'm dealing with a producer in Florida, a producer in Atlanta, and we're trying to figure out a couple things. They're helping me out with some things. And then I usually really try to get my stuff buttoned up by lunchtime, and then I'm kind of back in the saddle helping with lunches and naps and whatever else needs to happen. And then there's a time in the afternoon, where it gets busy for me again. But, it's just, I was reading something the other day. You just have to make your work schedule different than what it is. You have to, work differently. Like this morning I was up at 5 a.m. writing a script, just to kind of get it done so I could be helpful with the family during the day. Not every day is going to be like that. And then one day we had something happening and we had someone working on our washer and dryer. The kids were running around and I got a phone call and I was like, Jonathan, I got to run. It's the White House calling. I got to go talk to them about some things.
Whoa,
and so that's just how it is.
To hell with the White House. Your washer dryer broke?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that seems like the worst thing that could happen, in your home.
Tell me about it.
Because I think ours is running 24 hours a day.
Totally, yeah.
Can you tell us about, some things that feel like they are silver linings and, positive aspects of these past few weeks, months?
Oh my gosh, there's so much more positive for us. And we are definitely that family that we are enjoying this time together. I mean, because during the week, and our kids know it, that during the week we are on a grind. We have always said you work hard and you play hard. And during the week, we've always worked very hard. On the weekends, we've always played very hard. When we're on vacation, we play very hard. But, my schedule takes me out of the mix, for long days. I'm sometimes traveling. Tomorrow you got to get on a plane and go with the president or go on this campaign thing. Right. And that's not happening now. We're having dinner 5:00 usually every night in between me doing live reports or whatever. And, we're able to have that time together. And I fear when this is over because I think our kids are going to be devastated. I said to one of our kids this morning, I said, well, I just got to notice it's been extended for me to stay home a little bit longer. And he said, oh, you're never going back to work. And I was like, that's really great. He thinks that, I want him to think that for a while. And because they don't get that all the time.
Yeah.
And so that is the silver lining. I can stop and we can read, we can see them, taking pictures of things. And that's the really great part of things.
Yeah, it's funny that the kids are really loving this period of time. Like for them, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Well, and one of them said the other day, we said, do you miss your friends at school? And he was like, no, I just love our family time. And I was like, gosh, that kind of sums it up a lot, doesn't it?
We just had that exact same exchange with one of our 4-year-olds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is amazing. I mean, I have to believe that, especially at their age, that when this thing is over, they will reacclimate and, it won't leave too much of a mark. But certainly I agree with you that the time that they're spending with us, this incredible amount of time that they're spending with us is very special.
And I think it freaked us out at first. I remember the day that we got the notification that our schools are closed for the rest of the year. And we both looked at each other like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Yeah. And we both said to each other in that same breath, this is a time that our kids are going to judge us for how we respond. So let's not freak out about it, but let's really embrace it. And we have, we've really enjoyed it.
I'm just assuming that my kids are going to judge me terribly no matter what in the future, but I hear what you're saying. Blair, there is a question. I realize that you are a very public figure, but I'm sorry. You're going to have to answer this question. And it is, I'd like you to describe what?
No, you're so dramatic.
I'm trying to be dramatic.
I know. What is it?
Yes. I'd like you to describe the thing that you have eaten that you are the most ashamed of in the last week or two.
Oh my gosh! If you really knew it, I'm a dumpster. I eat so much candy and junk. It's so bad. If people really knew, I try to.
This is your opportunity
and do all these things, but I love candy and it's never ending for me. So I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. It's like I feel like one of my bosses was saying, how are you doing? Eating healthy. I'm like, I'm not. I eat mac and cheese or whatever's sitting around for the kids all day long. I'm eating all this junk.
Yeah. Yes, we eat dinosaur-shaped chicken constantly. Yeah, I hear you. Blair, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us and for what you're doing, informing the public at a time like this when we so desperately need to know what's going on.
No, thank you guys very much for the opportunity. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for the service that you guys are providing as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is Blair.